Hello everyone, thanks for today's second video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. So day 10 is going to take us to the 17th of April. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with GFS and ECM ensembles. We're into around a couple of weeks. Going to have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video. For the next 4 weeks, I shall get on with that for you very shortly. Just say about the first video we today was a USA forecast. And I think we're going to do Snow Watch tonight. We will cover the situation at the weekend in this video just with the GFS, but I think we'll have a look at a range of model output this evening and see what the snow potential is across a broad range of models for the weekend this evening. So I shall get on with that for you very shortly. Now, just to say, so Snow Watch coming up tonight. I'll get on with 10 to 14 day for you very shortly. Now, just to say that yesterday I gave you the final, what I thought was the final total for the Gallon Sav charity live stream, because I did live stream with Sav on Friday, and I thought we had raised £600 for the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance, and I sort of gave that as like the final total. But we had sort of last minute donations yesterday, including an incredible one-off donation of £200, absolutely unbelievable amount. And so it turns out that our final total is actually £810. Wow, incredible. £810 raised by the Gavin Sav charity live stream event. So thank you so much to each and every one of you who donated. Absolutely unbelievably kind. That money will be getting sent to the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance via Just Giving very, very shortly. They'll be very, very grateful for that amount, I think. So it's incredible. You know, when I started this, I never believed that we would get like over £800. So I'm just absolutely amazed, and thank you so much for all of the kindness and all of the generosity too. And I know I speak for Savvy as well when I say that we're both absolutely amazed and overwhelmed and overjoyed by the amount of money that you've all donated. So thank you so much. It's incredibly kind. And as I say, that money will be getting to the air ambulance via Just Giving very, very, very shortly. So incredible, absolutely incredible. Watch your space for more Gavin Sav live streams, maybe charity events as well. Who knows in the coming weeks and months. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. Incredible. Right, let's move on with the video then. So it was a very, very cold start this morning across many parts of the country. Widespread and severe frost. And we do actually have the temperature still hovering around freezing in the northern part of the country, even as I'm doing the video, like at midday on the 7th of April. I mean, we are talking about April now, so we're well on into the spring. So to be having temperatures at midday still around freezing is impressively cold. Loch Ness Garnock is at freezing, and we've also got Kirkwell Airport at freezing as well. Our place is not quite as cold as that, but nevertheless, Weatherstown Camp is at 3 degrees. We've got Tremalbin at 3 degrees. We've got Strathallan a little bit less cold at 6 degrees, but still chilly. Boyne is at 5 degrees. Down into Northern Ireland, we've got Belfast at 6 degrees into Wales. Lake Verwey, only 2 degrees. Sennybridge, just 3 degrees into the Midlands. Wellesbourne Airfield is at 5 degrees, Wittering at 5 degrees, down into London, just 5 degrees down to the south coast. Hertsman Zone is at 6 degrees, Bournemouth is at 6 degrees. These sort of temperatures at midday in April on the south coast, bear in mind. Exeter is at 6 degrees, Nuke is at 6 degrees, and over into Ilam, we've got Moore Park at 8 degrees, and we've got Kerry Airport at 8 degrees too. So it's cold in Ireland as well. So it's another cold day. Tomorrow will be a little bit less cold, a little bit milder, and then we're back into northerly winds again on Friday and into weekend. All of this, of course, is having an effect on the central temperature, so that's continuing to fall away. The CT currently stands at 6.2, which is an anomaly of 0.3 of a degree below average. That's provisional to the SIT. Bear in mind, that's for 61 to 1990, so we'd be further below average set against 81 2010. And that's going to carry on dropping as well. We've got tonight's very cold, or last night's very cold night to add on to that. Will be another very cold night tonight through the CT region, probably. So that's going to fall away into the 5s, and by the end of the weekend, it might even be into the 4s. We'll have to wait and see about that, but it certainly has turned into a very, very chilly start to April, to say the least. And the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensemble show that got more cold weather to come. So the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Pembroke. This is another suggested location for this part of the video. If you'd like to have your local town or city feature within this part of the video, then please let us know via the comments. But yeah, we're beginning colder than average, you know, at the moment. And although the temperature does tick up slightly tomorrow, by Friday into the weekend, we're back into pretty cold weather once again. And there's no sign of anything particularly mild this side of mid-month anyway, so that's the 15th of April just there. And even into like the second half of the month, the ensemble mean is only going back to average, and there's a lot of scatter then with warmer ensemble members up here, but colder ensemble members down there. So a little bit more scatter, perhaps heralding something slightly milder or less cold through the last sort of week or so of April. But certainly the next week to 10 days are looking solidly colder than average, really. Precipitation-wise, we're going to be seeing further showery conditions, not overly unsettled, but not completely settled either, so just further showery weather. And when it's cold, there will be a risk, of course, of some winteriness in those showers, especially over high ground. Temperature anomalies from the 7th to the 15th of April, going to be colder than average for UK and for Ireland, for most of Europe as well, coming out with below average temperatures. Precipitation anomalies from the 7th to the 15th of April, going to be drier than average for England and Wales, but a little bit wetter than average for northern and western parts of Scotland. Latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net shows that winds remain from a northerly direction. Again, if we drag the map up, pull it around a little bit, you can see that the air does originate from the Arctic Circle itself. It's plunging down the western side of Europe. The worst of northerly wind is now being shunted away to our east slightly, and we have got some westerlies just lurking in the Atlantic. So we've got a milder airflow just out here, just lurking to start trying to push in towards the UK and Ireland. And so that will lift temperature up a little bit tonight in the north and across the rest of the country tomorrow. But only temporarily, and then we'll be back into those northerlies again through Friday and into the weekend. This is how the UK Met is looking for Saturday. Winds are in from the north on Saturday, so we return to those northerlies. And yeah, we'll be getting colder again into the weekend. North to northeasters continue into Sunday as well. And then we get this area of low pressure developing to the west of Scotland with a slight ridge over France. And that perhaps starts to bring up something a little bit milder through the early part of next week. Or I say milder, probably more less cold. Really. I mean, there's nothing particularly mild about this because it's not coming from a warm source of air. And we still fundamentally are in a blocked pattern with high pressure around Greenland. But as the air or the wind sort of turns back round to become a little bit more Atlantic based, that might be slightly less cold through the early part of next week. This is how the GFS midnight run was looking. Again, winds are back in from the north as we go into the weekend. Another spell of northerly winds. So we get this area of low pressure developing around France, trying to push up into that northerly to northeasterly winds. So that could deliver something a little bit more in way of persistent precipitation for southern and southeastern areas. That might be rain, it might be sleet, it could even be snow. We go through to the early part of next week, and again we have this low pressure sort of sinking down the western side. It's a shallow area of low pressure, but probably enough to bring something slightly less cold in off the Atlantic as it begins to turn wind around to the west and to the southwest. Moving up towards day 10, we begin to get this ridge of high pressure building in from the west. We're still on the cold side of the ridge. I explained this in a video, was it yesterday or day before, I can't remember, but I explained whenever we have the high pressure to our west, because of the way the air rotates around the high pressure, it means we'll bring in cool winds from either a west, northwest or northerly direction at this time of year. If you want warmth, you want to get the high pressure to our east, and then we'll pull up southerly winds. But at the moment, the high pressure is centred to our west, and so even though the ridge is building in, it's not as cold as like the Arctic northerly. It's still going to be quite chilly that at day 10, just a little bit more settled. And of course, with high pressure out to our west, we're always at risk of like digging the jet stream back in and bringing secondary features back in. That's what happens here around the 18th, 19th of April. Another little trough digs in from the north. That possibly brings something a little bit more showery in from the north as well. So remain quite chilly, not as cold as it is at the moment, but remaining quite chilly even into the second half month with GFS midnight run. Eventually, this is starting to look a little bit milder. This is as far as we get to with GFS 23rd of April, long way out. But eventually, then the high pressure is sort of back towards the Azores, more of its typical position. Low pressure around Iceland, and this should start to drag in something warmer from the southwest. I mean, even that's not going to be particularly warm in second half of April. But a bit of a recovery in the temperature, back to something closer to average anyway there. Right, so let's have a look at the precipitation type forecast based on that GFS midnight run. So we're starting off with snow showers in the north, of course, wintry showers around western and eastern coasts as well. Otherwise, there's more and more dry weather today, not as many winter showers as there was yesterday. Tomorrow we're bringing rain in from off the Atlantic, so the air is a little bit less cold tomorrow, but not for long. We have this band of rain coming southwards on Friday. That's a cold front, and as that pushes through, again, it's opening the door to those northerly winds once again. So Friday we'll see colder air digging back in from the north, showers turn back to snow across Scotland. And then into Saturday we have plenty of snow showers across Scotland, Northern Ireland, possibly Northern England. There's a more general area of rain down in the far south and southeast, and the GFS midnight run did actually turn that to snow and bring snow into the south and the southeast. All that quite heavy snow through like the southeast corner from Saturday into Sunday through East Anglia, southeast England, perhaps into parts of the Midlands and central southern England as well. A little bit of a snow event down in the south and southeast over the weekend. Looks rather dubious to say the least, but certainly that's what the GFS midnight run was doing. So let's have a look and see what the 6 said has decided to do with that. We've just updated as we've been speaking. Man, as I say, we're going to do snow watch tonight. We'll look at a more general range of models, I think, in snow watch later. So this is what GFS 6 said, just updating as I'm doing video is showing. So again, turning colder from Friday into Saturday. And again, just a suggestion of more persistent sort of precipitation in that far south and southeast corner. There's some heavy rain, sleet and snow over northern parts of France. Maybe not quite as widespread with that in the south and southeast, but definite suggestion of something a little bit wintry happening in the south and the southeast through the weekend. So more about that in Snow Watch later. GM looks like this. Winds in from the north on Saturday, returning to northerly winds again with snow showers in the north. And then go through into OPAD next week. And again, have this low pressure meandering around the country. That is sort of pulling wind back round to the west-southwest. So it's starting to become slightly less cold through the early part of next week, if not particularly milder. By day 10, possibly starting to reintroduce something a little bit milder from the west then with the GM. The ECM also cold northerly winds as we go into the weekend and the early part of next week, so still chilly. Later next week, again, we start to bring up something a little bit milder from the southwest, so it starts to turn less cold through the middle part of next week. Outbreaks of rain rather than wintry weather, more likely up in the north. Get through to day 10, and the ECM puts us back into those northerly winds again, however. By the 17th of April, we're back into another northerly. It looks generally quite cool at the very least over the next week to 10 days, and possibly cold at times, especially over the weekend. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to the 17th of April. So from the Icelandic Metcalfe as well, we have 31 members of the ECM ensembles, including the control and the operation room, that have low pressure to our north and income west winds. So unsettled and quite cool with those. 13 with low pressure to the west, high pressure to the east, and we'd be drawing up more of a southerly southwesterly flow with that one. And then 7 have high pressure over top of the country. That's going to be the most settled option. Of could be a little bit chilly with that. This is the warmest option, but is rather unsettled. And this one, the majority, 31, is quite a cold and unsettled option still at day 10. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Will get us to the 22nd of April. 16 members of the ECL ensemble have high pressure just to our west-southwest, and we'll be drawing up more of a southerly southwesterly, so drier and warmer with that, or certainly drier and milder, much more spring-like. 15, we'll have northern blocking still with low pressure underneath it, so that's going to be unsettled. Wind is more of a west-southwesterly, so it should be a bit less cold, a little bit milder, but it is unsettled. 13, we'll have high pressure to the west and low pressure to the east, and will bring down more of a northerly wind. And then 7, we'll have high pressure from Greenland to Scandinavia, and we'll probably bring winds in from more of an easterly direction. So a range of options. We may see something more spring-like as we come into like the final week of April. But certainly the next week, 10 days, looking quite cool. Finally, CFSV2, these are 500 millibar heights, break it down to week periods. The first week period takes us from the 7th to the 13th of April. The coming week will have blocking to the northwest combined with low pressure over Scandinavia, and will bring in these, or continue to bring in, these cold northerly winds in the week ahead. Week 2 also looks quite cold and unsettled. This is the 14th to 20th of April. Again, trough low pressure in the over Scandinavia, ridge of high pressure around Greenland, and low pressure in the central Atlantic means that we're probably bringing in winds from like a northeasterly or northerly direction. Week 3 is going to take us through the 21st, 27th of April. Low pressure will be over into the northern country, and again, in comes those west-southwest is unsettled with that, but probably a little bit milder as the areas coming up from the Atlantic. And then we get through to week 4, which is the 28th of April to the 4th of May. High pressure in just to our west-southwest. That looks a little bit more spring-like with more of a west or southwesterly type flow. So we get through to the beginning of May, and maybe we'll be able to crack on then with something a little bit more spring-like. If you enjoyed the video, please do smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. If you subscribe, you'll be able to see future weather content. Tell your friends, family, everybody else who subscribe. Thank you so much. We are grinding our way to 11k subscribers, but it has turned into a proper old grind. I think we'll probably get to 11k sometime in the summer, but it's a slow old process at the moment, as it always is in the spring. And drop a comment, let us know what you think. Thank you so much, everybody, for all of the support, and particularly, of course, thank you so much for the support with the charity fundraising that we'll be doing. Over £800 raised for the air ambulance. Absolutely unbelievable. Thank you so much, everybody, for all of the generosity and kindness to GavsWeatherVids, to Sav, and also, of course, to the air ambulance. Right, so that's it for today's 10 to 14 day. We'll be back later on tonight, though, with Snow Watch. So it's unbelievable, 7th of April, and we're still doing Snow Watch. So that might be the latest Snow Watch ever done. I'm not sure if it is or not, but anyway, we'll see what the snow risks are across a range of models tonight after 7 o'clock with Snow Watch for the weekend. For this one, though, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.